Hello, today we are looking at the Unilever's tea supply chain. Here's our group members, and we come from Friday's Seminar B. Right, just a brief introduce. Unilever is a multinational company and own more than 400 brands. And there is 13 brands owned by Unilever at the moment. Here you can see from picture. These are brands owned by Unilever worldwide. And Unilever supply around 12% of the world's total black tea production and firmly occupy the market with leader brands. And Unilever are purchasing their raw material from Kenya, Tanzania, India, Turkey, and China. But today we'll look at the first 4 countries. Right, according to Unilever CEO Paul Polman, suggests in 2009 to double the size of the company while reducing their overall impact on the environment. So in short, they intend to decouple growth from the environmental impact. Then in 2010, they launched the Unilever Sustainable Living Plan. The plan focused on its agricultural supply chains, which vision is to double the size of the business, as well as reducing the environmental impact by half by 2020. Unilever also wants solving the 100% of their agricultural raw materials sustainably by 2020. Also, the plan is to look at the 7 areas of the agricultural raw material suppliers, which are healthy and improving nutrition, decrease greenhouse gases, and water pollution and water shortage, and waste management, supply sustainable sourcing, and also bring better livelihood to their suppliers. Right, we choose triple bottom line as our theoretical framework. Because the Sustainable Living Plan wants to make economic benefits through make positive effects on social and environmental aspect to their supply chains, and finally achieve the stable, sustainable resource and business growth. So we define 3 main strategic problems within its strategy and the supply chains. First one is, how does Unilever achieve 100% of sustainable resources in order to improve the bottom line financial results? Second one, because there is a limited number of workers, limited land producing tea, so how could they improve their productivity? And also, every tea supply areas has to face different problems. Here is an overview of tea supply chain for Unilever. Only 10% of tea supply come from their own estate and factory, which are Kenya and Tanzania estate. So the most of them, about 90%, come from smallholders. And in order to improve their tea's quality, the Unilever also cooperate with the Rainforest Alliance to certificate these smallholders to make sure the tea is sustainable and also the quality is good. For those smallholders who does not certificate being Rainforest Alliance, so the Unilever cooperate with some organizations, non-government organizations, and also governments to help these small farmers to meet the standard of Rainforest Alliance certification. Here are some common issues in tea supply chain. These problems are also interrelated. For example, due to the lack of knowledge, skills, and poor farming methods, when pest and disease comes, the tea farmers will use fertilizer and pesticide in a wrong way. That will lead to soil pollution, water pollution. Also, low wages lead to poor working condition. So to solve this problem, Unilever cooperate with local organizations and to educate and training small farmers and help them to meet the standard of the Rainforest Alliance. And also the partnership helps the workers to improve workers' working condition and income. through some standards such as minimum wage and limited working hours. So then we look at a specific issue due to the different region. First of all, it's the tea supply in Kenya. The overall supply chain is similar, but Kenya is the country has 95% of tea export. So they're very reliant on the tea farmers, very reliant on the tea export. And in Kenya, the Unilever cooperates with Kenya Tea Development Agency to build farmers file schools to help smallholders to help smallholders get knowledge, resources, and skills to meet the standard for Rainforest Alliance certification. There are some special problems in Kenya tea supply chain. The age trend of 4 tea farmers show that the old farmers are much more likely to grow tea. There were almost twice as many as farmers over 65 years old grow tea than which under 25 years old. So the aging population of tea farmers in tea supply chain in Kenya needs to be effectively managed and monitored in order to ensure the security of supply. And another problem is low quality of tea, because farmers in Kenya have specialized in production of bulk and differently tea, with focus on volume rather than the quality. So to solve this problem, the Unilever also cooperate with Kenya Tea Development Agency and the Sustainable Training Initiative to co-fund farmer field schools to help the farmers improve the tea's quality.
Let's talk about the specific problem and strategies in India. For tea farmers and workers at Unilever tea suppliers in India, the situation is not better. Women form the majority of tea workers on large estates, making up 15 to 18% of the workforce in some places. Discriminatory practices such as lower wages are widespread, not providing a fair opportunity to small tea farmers, and they only have weak labor rights. And the environment issues. When tea is grown as a monoculture, a loss of biodiversity also occurs. Without biodiversity, the soil cannot produce the nutrients required to be healthy and productive. To reverse these problems and to aid the health of tea bushes, artificial fertilizers and pesticides are applied. These chemicals seep into the ground and result in even more soil degradation, to which even more agrochemicals are applied to sustain the same yields. In northeast India, areas where forests and grassland came together have been cleared. Clearing land to make way for tea farms, whether by smallholders or industrial plantations, causes the displacement of indigenous plants and wildlife, which reduces biodiversity and threatens entire ecosystems. And let's talk about strategy solutions. In India, the world's second largest tea growing nation behind China, and Unilever entered into a memorandum of understanding with the National Federation of Small Tea Growers. The benefits are maintaining the rights of workers and improving living conditions. And then in 2030, Unilever also helped to establish Charles Tea. The Charles Tea logo guarantees the social, economic, agronomic, and environmental performance. The program in time seeks to, by the end of 2050, 228,000 tons of tea has been trusted, verified, impacting over 13,000 smallholders and over 200,000 tea estates. Let's talk about the women solution. In 2014, Unilever joined UN Women's He for She campaign, and then Shakti program, through which we train women in rural India to become our sales agents. The benefits are relieve the issue of gender equality and provide more employment opportunities for women. And last, Unilever has announced it will collaborate with CABI, the to protect tea from pests in India. The benefits: design protocols for pilot field trials and investigate novel approaches for management of pests.
Let's talk about the problem in Tanzania. Unilever has its own tea estates in Mufindi, Tanzania. It provides around 10,000 tons of tea every year and employs 6,000 people. Tea faces many social and environmental challenges. Social aspect issues are small farmer livelihood issues and their healthy issues, downward pressure on price and upward pressure on production cost to harm to agricultural practice. It results in poor yield and low quality of tea and has negative impact on small farmers' livelihood. HIV prevalence in Ireland, where the tea estate is located, is high. It has an implication for the health of farmers. Environmental aspect issues are soil erosion and biodiversity loss. The tea estate is surrounded by Mufindi forest. The forest can minimize erosion on soil and also help maintain the microclimate and water. Tanzania has 6 months dry season in a year, so the irrigate water is critical for tea in dry season. Unilever applies several strategies to solve those problems in social aspect. Unilever work with Tanzania government, Tea Board of Tanzania and Tanzania Smallholder Development Agency in 2013 to improve the livelihood of farmers while enhance the tea supply chain. It's aimed to create 5,000 jobs for farmers. Work with wonderful through messages. Farmers will receive information about weather's crop quality and training date. Unilever Tea Tanzania Limited provides free healthy service and HIV education for farmers and their development. Using less water, all irrigation water is heaviest within the farmers during the rain season and stored for use the dry season. And drip irrigate, it can save 10% water. Protect biodiversity of farmers help the villagers grow trees for cooking to provide the forest.
I will introduce the Unilever's teas in Turkey market. Turkey is the 5th largest tea production country. There is nearly 7 pounds tea per person in Turkey. It is the largest tea market all over the world. Because of that, the tariff of tea for export in Turkey is nearly 145%. So most of the production in Turkey is purchased in domestic market. In Turkey, now Unilever's Lipton tea brand is working in partnership with the reinforced alliances to introduce measures aimed at improving the social, economic, and environmental impacts of tea production. In the first, it is the social. There are 3 parts of that, like tea growth, healthy screens, and soil analysis. The tea growers in Turkey are located in a very city region called rice, and most of the farmers do not have the experience to go to school, so they need to get the educations on the tea growing. So there are over 15,000 Turkey tea growers will receive the one-to-one training to help them to grow the teas. And then in addition, 2,000 trainer sessions will provide the tea growers with information on sustainability related topics such as erosion control, waste management, etc. The tea growers healthy will also come under the spotlight, with Lipton set to provide around 5,000 women growers with healthy service. And then it is about the environment. The main problems in Turkey is about the water treatment and soil health, so they try their best to protect the quality of water and soil. They create the advanced systems to improve the quality of soil and water to grow the tea. And the final part of it is waste collection. There are over 900 tons of waste collected per year.
So, for the evaluation, Unilever's sustainable living plan focuses on bringing positive impact from social and environmental aspects to their tea supply areas. So, based on the triple bottom line theory, this impact also will bring the positive impact on the economic aspect, and then finally to achieve win-win-win, which is sustainable business growth and also sustainable resource supplies. So, as you can see from the table, we analyze the social and environmental positive impact outcomes on the table for the different areas. And then, according to record, the farms has been certificated by the Rainforest Alliance have seen their productivity increase from 1 kilogram to 1.2 kilogram per bush. So which means the productivity increased by 20%. And until nowadays, it's already 64% of their tea supply being certificated by Rainforest Alliance. And also according to the CEO Paul Pullman, that on the 4 years review of the sustainable living plan, those brands respond to sustainable living brand grow at twice the rate of the rest of the business. So that is our presentation. Here is a reference list. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.